Hey garden friends, I needed to get out here and do a little bit of a video of the garden. It's freezing right now. It was warm, now it's back to freezing, and I wanted to get some more footage of the irises because they are just gorgeous. They could very well freeze the next few days or get pelted with rain and just be done, or done looking pretty. So I wanted to take you on this so you could see it for yourself. And then I'm working on, I also do the rose alley here. I'm going to be working on a video on the different types of roses and what maybe you want to look for your specific garden space, because the different varieties behave differently, and they, one may not suit your garden where another will. So that'll be next time or coming up soon. So let's get to viewing the beautiful iris and then Rose Alley at this stage on May 25th. Hey garden friends, yes, it is a chilly Tuesday morning, but I wanted to take you around again. More iris have opened and they are so gorgeous. We are to get rain and thunderstorms in the next 3 days. It may very well beat up my iris beyond anything I would like. So I'm going to show you what they're looking like right now. I can already feel a drizzle. Look at that orange. That's called Orange King. And I'm not sure what this one was. I think it's Wedding Gown, but I could be wrong. So don't hold that against me if it isn't. But for some reason, that's what's sticking in my brain. And this one, look at that with the little horns. I love that. This is such a striking color. I've put my wave petunias in the barrels. They will fill in. I'm also going to do a rose alley tour here because I got a lot of roses that are blooming. This is my grandmother's hat. It's a vintage rose. And I got it because my paternal grandmother would always wear a hat. She had lupus, so she had to stay out of the sun. And look, there's one of my Starship Enterprise iris down there. You can see the beautiful bright colors. And look at that white foxglove, I love it. I want to make sure I get seeds from that and spread it around, though being open pollinated, it may not come true to that color. It may be another color, but the likelihood of me getting some white is, good. So yeah, look at that freaky one at the top. I know there's a name for that and I can't remember, but I like the dark cherry color of that. So down here is one of my Tequila Supreme roses. I had to take the one out and pot it because the gophers were eating it, but this one is just doing great. What is so unusual about these is this spot here is in the front, east facing, and gets very little sunlight. And then over here, look at these iris. Aren't those just gorgeous? It's just filled. There's just so many filled. I thought last time that I had a lot blooming, and now you can just see how many more are blooming beautifully. We're gonna walk over there. I have a peony up here getting ready to bloom. You notice the clematis? Both of them are pretty much done. I will cut these back a little bit and they will rebloom come September. I went to the garden center and got some coleus because none of my seeds germinated. I did something terribly wrong this year. And I got this. Look at this salvia. Isn't that color just gorgeous? I haven't figured out where I'm going to put it, but I'm going to go put it in the greenhouse so it'll last through this freeze because it came from somewhere warmer. That's another one of those roses. And look, my strawberries are getting ripe and I've got birdies eating them. I need to get out here and protect this area. But look over here. This is my verbascum, but look at these irises. The hummingbirds are going crazy over the feeder there. But yeah, look at all these. Just a forest of iris. I'm still loving the geums. It's spelled Geums. And that's Mrs. Bradshaw. I grew those from seeds. The first year I'm enjoying blooms from them, so I don't know how long they last. And this one is purple whiskers or something like that. You see how the falls have what looks like whiskers. Yeah, look at these, all so gorgeous and thick. Some they are out here in the pathway. I did not put them here. This is from gophers, digging and tunneling and moving things. But yeah, look at these colors. This one is one of my older ones. It's called Supreme Sultan, and it has such striking colors. And here is that rose blooming. I've got, you can see the evidence of the weevils, which I need to cut all the buds off. That you see the buds that are just hanging there. That's the weevil damage. So I need to get some more of my systemica, which is made from rosemary and clove oil. Here, concertina is one of my favorites. I love the lavender beard with the orange at the center, and then the peachy blooms. This is a smaller size bloom itself. And then look at this, isn't this gorgeous? I think this is Fall Siesta. I got this at Shriners Iris Gardens. I also buy some from Sutton's Iris Gardens and Horton's Iris Gardens. Those are the three I have purchased from. I know there's many more out there, and I think there's a Mid-America garden too that has beautiful varieties. Yeah, lovely. My one Kirsten Poulsen rose out there getting ready. And here's my petal pusher miniature rose. So yeah, I've got, look at this poppy getting ready to open up. It came up in this rose pot, or pot of roses. And this is Olivia Austin rose. And over here is some more wave petunias. I just put them out. We are going to get down to 37 degrees tonight after having such warm, beautiful weather. Fortunately, the wave petunias can handle it normally. Look at my Eden rose. I just love it. And this is a 12 violet, I think, clematis. It will be blooming a pretty blue. I have some ferns I need to pull out there. I know some people are probably screaming because I do pull them out. They grow like weeds here. Look at this. I think this is another one of my chocolate iris. This one I got from Horton's. I need to look it up. And I'm staking it up. It wanted to fall over, so this is a stake. And I use these little pots that I get at Home Depot. They don't have a hole, so they're perfect for using for this, and they're small. I did buy some small ones at Green Acres Nursery, but those I'm going to use for my African violets. Now this was a pretty striking color too, and it's done already, but it was beautiful. I'll see if I could put another clip up of it from a previous. But you see how these have all filled in? This is why I love my iris, even though they're short blooming, is they bring such a massive color to my garden when there's not much else going on. Look, there's my Darcy Bucelle rose. Look at the color of that iris. And I love how my Eden is doing along the fence there. Yeah, this one is LD Braithwaite, this rose. That's also a David Austin rose. I've got a video coming up soon. I'm going to tell you about the different varieties of roses I grow and why I grow them, what they're suitable for. Because they're different roses grow differently or behave differently. Like that is my, what was that called again? I know it's coming. It's not the Impressionist. Crazy Love, that's right. It has all these different colors in it. I'll probably walk up there and show you up close. So yeah. So I've got a lot of perennials coming in yet. They'll come in as the weather warms. Look at that salvia. This is a salvia gregii. I've got several colors. You see that one's like a violet, a red violet. I have some that are more blue. I have some that are actually like a salmon color. Now this rose back here, I thought it had croaked. And look at it. This one was my very first David Austin rose. It's Graham Thomas. And then I also have Golden Celebration, but both of them over here, they were kind of struggling. So it looks like I might be able to revive them. I was worried I wouldn't. My rhododendron's just about done. Oh, and there's my Southern Charm verbascum. You know, I have tried to let this go to seed and it's never come back. So I'm wondering if it's a sterile hybrid. But my white wedding candles and all that came back. Look at this beautiful foxglove. This tree rose has been struggling, so I need to do something differently. Look at it, it just defoliated. And that was because it was so warm, it leaved out, and we had a hard freeze. And then, yeah. So I'm gonna have to baby that a little bit more. Look at that iris. Yeah, so many beautiful colors. I've got some cucumber beetles and it looks like they've been wreaking havoc on my irises. Look at this color together. I never can have enough or too many irises. And another one of this. Some are scented, so they smell so sweet as you're walking through. Look at this one over here. Isn't that stunning? Yeah, the hardy geranium is starting to bloom. And look at this one. Okay, let's go up and around and we'll take a walk through Rose Alley after I show you some more of my Eden rose along the fence. Look how beautiful that is. I just love the form, and they hold the flowers. I had New Dawn over here, and New Dawn just did not. My husband's chopping wood because we need a fire. There's that crazy love. Isn't that gorgeous? Of course, he decides to come out and do this when I'm not here videoing. All right, here's the other side that I trained. Excuse me, we were gone for over the weekend, and I think I came home with a cold. I haven't had a cold in years. Look at this, is a ground cover rose. Actually, it's white, and it's like a white popcorn look. And I trained it on this obelisk. I should have cut it back further because it doesn't seem to be any at the base. They're all up here covering my little rooster, but I'll get to that. But it's a ground cover rose. Any one of those canes touched the ground, it would root and cover a large area. So that's my Kirsten Poulsen rose. That's a vintage rose. It's a single. This is one I started from seed. Cuttings that I got. And then, look at this. This is, I didn't know it had such small flowers, and maybe it has bigger when it gets bigger. But this is supposed to be my Hurricane Katrina rose, also known as Peggy Martin. But I should look that up. For some reason, like I said, I thought they had bigger flowers on it, but it's just gorgeous. I think it's a one-time bloomer. We'll see how long it blooms, and hopefully we won't get too cold tonight. So I did put some of my extra irises out here, and I'm kind of looking for, okay, maybe that's it. This down here, this plant, this is another verbascum, but a violet color, and then in front of it down there is pineapple sage. I was worried it didn't make it through the winter, but it looks like it did. So yeah, my Elkie hardy geranium, that's a nice one. It stays compact. It doesn't get too crazy. I have another one called Tiny Monster, and it does have a tendency to want to take over. Okay, here's a hardy geranium. This one's Patricia. Look at the beautiful colors on that. And a Nepeta, weeds, and then another beautiful foxglove. And that is my butterfly bush. So I have a ground cover over here, rose called Happy Chappy. Yeah, it looks like I really got some beetle damage on these irises. So I need to get in there and take care of that. So another of the Elkie hardy geranium. Yeah, here's another look at that orange king. Yeah, I see a cucumber beetle in there. That's probably what's perforating the petals. So I love this. This is Jupiter's beard, and it blooms well all summer long. I see it has spread in here, and I need to transplant some of it. But again, here's this beautiful one. Down here, I have some thyme. This one is called Silver Queen, I think. It stays a silvery color. Now I need to get rid of some of this Jupiter's beard, because see, down there is a lemon lime colored Nepeta, and I want it to have some room. But look at the gorgeous color of this. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, some of the roses. Now this is Rose Alley. Let me step back away so you can get an overall look of it. And I'll link to the video I did last year, which was almost a month later than this one, this video, pretty sure. And yeah, it shows you how much earlier a lot of things are blooming, and not everything is blooming the same time as they were last year. So it just shows how the seasons change with what blooms when, based on the weather. Look at this foxglove. Don't you just love that intense color? And more of the Jupiter's beard in there. Some of the iris that were blooming a lot last time. I think I did this 2 weeks ago. And you can see the difference in what bloomed later. There's earlier blooming iris, later blooming iris. And there is this is nearly wild. This rose is the one that the rose weevils really like. And yeah, they've done a number. I tried to keep it sprayed with the Systemica. It's made with rosemary and clove oils, and I ran out. And usually it takes care of them immediately. But look, I'll show you a picture, not a picture, a little clip. See this weevil? That is the rose weevil, and he needs to be gone. So more irises in there. These peonies were more open last year when the irises were blooming like this. So this year, I don't know what's going on with the peonies down here. The one at the top bloomed out already. It's done. And normally they all bloom together. So just observing things. I threw some of the extra irises I had down here. So these are just extras. My pear tree took a real hit with this last snowstorm that was so heavy, and you can see how it's been malformed. That's going to get a heavy prune back. I haven't pruned this limb back, even though it's kind of wonky because it has pears on it. So yeah, going on down. My lilacs, which were done over a month ago. So I'm cleaning up this area. The artemisia is just looking gorgeous, and the germander down there. So this is rose campion. I think someone asked me about mentioning or talking about rose campion, and I will do so in another video. Mine just reseeds itself, and wherever it decides to come up, I let it. But here is my Boscobel roses, and they're doing beautiful. I have to keep a close eye on them. The gophers seem to like to chew on their roots a lot. So I'm gonna get my spray out. I've been putting the cinnamon out. It seems to work a little bit, or help so far. So this is John Davies rose, and then this is the rose I started from my father-in-law's house. It looks a little morphed there. I need to cut those blooms off. Now I replaced the Madame Alfred Carrier rose that was here. It was just too rambunctious. So I put this one here. It was a raspberry cream twirl, which a viewer said is just gorgeous and grows well in her garden. So I put that there. I did pot up the Madame Alfred Carrier. Look at this iris. Oh, I think I can smell the smoke. The New Dawn, I was going to pull it out because it hasn't bloomed. And then all of a sudden, it was just full of bloom. I tried to dig it up, maybe the disturbance, I don't know. But now it is just full of blooms. And down here is my Kiss Me Kate Arbor Rose, climbing rose, to fill in on this side. Last year I had the Testy Overville in the barrel there, and I moved those down into the Secret Cottage garden. But yeah, this side, this is Constant Spry. It is a rambler, and it will bloom the once. It's got beautiful blooms, and I need to put another rose with it down there. I had one in there, and it's disappeared, so gophers may have gotten it. But this is my Quicksilver Arbor Rose, and it looks a little singed. It's where it was warm, and then it turned cold, and now it's turned warm again, and now it's cold again. But I love the lavender, and this is just blooms all summer long. And more beautiful plants down here. I had someone ask me what this dahlia was, and it's not a dahlia, it's actually clematis. I need a deadheaded. This is my Dreamweaver Rose climbing up here. And it's been blooming for a couple weeks now, just beautifully. Volunteer foxgloves. I let my foxgloves reseed and come up in areas everywhere, and then I pull out what I don't want and let the others keep on going. Now these two roses in here haven't been looking so good, but I think they'll be fine. I just need to go in and deadhead and strip the fungusy leaves off, and I think it will do well. Now these two roses are so similar. There's Rural England and Awakening on this trellis, and they're very close in form. The Awakening is a little bit bigger. I'll show you that up here. Then, look at it, and the color's a little bit fainter pink. And you see the Rural England has a little bit more lavender in it and a little bit smaller form. But you can see they're both growing up this vigorously along with this clematis. I think this is Jackmanii clematis. So on the other side of the Quicksilver is Gertrude Jekyll. Lots of deadheading to do, but it is so fragrant. I love it. Beautiful pink, and it's also very vigorous. Look, it's all the way up there towards the top. And yeah, even down there. And this side, more clematis. I have not put more roses in here yet. I got plenty to do, so I will get to that. This is my Jubilee Celebration Rose, and it is one that is fantastic for blooming all summer long. I have my Love Song back there, not open yet, but it's got buds. And then I have also Violet's Pride. They're both a lavender, so I thought they would suit each other in that barrel. Look at this. This is one of my favorites in the garden. Favorite iris, that color. And then there's those. That one right there, that's so striking, the amber color one with the polka dots, that is Camera Ready. And yeah. Now over here is Albertine Rose, which has gotten very vigorous. That is a one-time bloomer. It's a rambler, I think, and very vintage. And then below, this is where I had one of the Edens, but I took it out because I didn't want, another one. And this is Rainy Blue. It's supposed to be a beautiful lavender climber. So we'll see how that one turns out. I made sure to plant it in a cage so it did not get eaten. And I will have to tame Albertine. Now this is my Crown Princess Margareta. That's the color I love, but it usually ends up fading to almost a creamy yellow once the sun hits it. This one's rather shaded, so it has maintained that beautiful color. And more of that iris. And my Zephyrin Druin Rose. It was much fuller, I think in the last video even, than now. And last time it was blooming the same time as all the ones on the arbors. So that tells you how different it is. And then I have the pretty and pink Eden planted with it. You see the flower form is different than the Zephyrin. And that one's blooming. I hope that one blooms consistently through the summer, whereas Zephyrin usually just has this big bloom and then kind of doesn't do much the rest of the summer. But I do have a beautiful clematis growing with it, and that thing has just taken off. It is almost all the way to the top. So yeah, gorgeous. You wouldn't believe how cold it is out here. After we've been having 80 degrees with toasty nights, this temperature right now is what we've been usually getting as a low at night. So yeah, my Crown Princess Margareta needs a lot of deadheading. But the clematis, that is Warsaw Nike clematis, which does beautifully. It's a type 3 pruning. Some say type 2. But you can get away with pruning them both similar. This is my Grandpa Newt rose. It seems to be doing fantastic this year. And also, oh yeah, there's my Safari rose. And this one is Queen of Sweden. And I have, this one is another of the Arbor Rose. I have to remember it's the red one, and it's doing beautifully. I have bought almost every color of the Arbor Roses. They're all climbing, but they have done so well for me that I made sure to collect, I think, almost every one of them. I think the only one I don't have is the white one. So over here, I wanted to share. This one is Dragon Fruit. Look at that. That is a ground cover rose. It's one of these sun lovers. What is it called? Oh, I can't remember. I will remember and put it across the screen. But here's the first one I got off the bargain rack of Lowe's. Tried Sunblaze. That's the name. And throughout the summer, they just bloom and bloom and bloom, even in the heat. So yeah, that's why I had to get that one too. I also have the white one. So, yep. Lots of stuff going on. Look at this climber. I'm not sure of the name of this one, but it does beautifully all summer. I trained it on one of the cattle panel trellises. And I had a phlox at its feet, but it didn't it struggled. So I'm going to put something different down there. Maybe a beautiful ground cover. The columbine been blooming a few weeks and doing beautiful still. I let it go to seed and then I spread the seed. But I have Aloha down here, rose. I have this arbor or this trellis ready for it to climb up. I just need to put in a stake so that it will reach. That's the length I had, so that's what I used for that. I could have went and bought another whole cattle panel and had a longer one, but this will work. So look at here, look at those foxgloves. I love foxgloves. I've grown them for 40 years and had no problems. But this is, I think, this is either heirloom or Noble Antony. And I can't remember which because I moved some around, but it's a David Austin rose. Yeah, this columbine has gone to seed. See the seed heads? So that's my Demitasse rose and my Bloodgood Japanese maple. See, the one day it got a little too dried out. See those leaves? That was my bad. So I'm very careful to keep my eye on it. So yeah, let's see what we got going on over here. So I got a delphinium coming up. I don't even know what color that one is. Look at this. This one's a creamy white. Foxglove. Oh, you know what? I had some peachy ones over. Oh, you know what? There it is. Forgive me for going back. But see, there it is. A peachy colored foxglove. Kind of hidden back there. But look at that. That one I just loved. That one's a little short this year. Oh, I see another piece down there. So, who knows? It may have cross-pollinated and that's the seedling. So it's lighter than it usually is, but I love those peachy colored foxgloves. So let's walk around to the back. You can see it's already starting to drizzle, making me quite chilly. Yeah, I had moved a bunch of things into a protective area while we were gone because it was supposed to be hot while we were gone. So this is the True Bloom roses. Very fragrant. I love this thing. And these are supposed to be very disease resistant, etc. Look at my hostas. I'm starting to put some hostas in front where the Tequila Supreme roses are. This is where I put my Tess roses, one of them. And the other one I had to throw away because I had crown gall. but I got a cutting off of that one over there, and I'm going to put it right here. So I'm going to have the Testio roses on both sides of this arbor. Look at that. I love that with the lavender falls. Yeah. My little tree roses. I got both of them on the bargain rack at Lowe's. This one took a beating in the last snow and it bent over and it kind of cracked the trunk. So I'm gonna stake it up and let's see if I can get it to recover. So last time I showed the iris, it was all these blue and purple with white, and then now here's this one. The amber colored ones. I think that's the Supreme Sultan. Yeah. Look at my Colette rose, it's finally going. It looked pretty sad before. More iris over here blooming. And I look at those poor snapdragons. I put them back here and they didn't like being transplanted. So I don't know if they'll recover, but they were seed grown, so it wasn't like I paid a whole lot of money for them. And I put in other, like the Gomphrena. I don't know how the Gomphrena is going to do in this cold weather. They do not like it cold, so we'll see. But yeah, you can see where I was transplanting back here, getting this all going and cleaned up as best as I can. You can see that way. I should have taken a good shot of Rose Alley last time I walked down it. And maybe it'll continue to bloom and I can do it when I'm not freezing. But here, the Colette. That's such a pretty color. This is similar to my Abraham Darby's, like this color too. But I have lots of things that get planted out, but the next 3 days is supposed to be rainy and thunderstorms and chilly, so I'll just leave them. Some of them are under the deck where I put them under there to protect them while we were gone. And so I think that'll protect them from getting too freezing. Okay, let's see if you can see the little chickies in here. I hear them peeping. Okay, there they are. Down there, they're doing good. It's probably wanting to focus on the fence, but there's Mama and there's the babies. Yep, they're doing well. The whole trick of putting them under that broody hen worked. When I picked them up, look at this. This is America. Look at that color. Isn't that gorgeous? I usually open up the hen house, but I think I'm gonna leave it closed so it's a little bit warmer. Though chickens can take cold better than they can take heat, so I'm not worried about them. So over here, wouldn't you know it, I put out my tomatoes, which they won't like this cold, but I think they'll be fine. Put up my tomatoes, some peppers, some dahlias I put in this raised planter because they are protected on the bottom. I also planted beans in there. And I put one of my dahlias over there. I have lettuce and strawberries in here. I ate a couple strawberries. These are Eversweet. They are so sweet. Yummy. I may put this in the greenhouse to protect it once I'm done with this video. Anyways, yes, I wanted to get this done before the super cold, just in case it gets cold enough to zap, or rain hard enough to zap many of these plants and make them look rather worn or beaten up, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, let's take a look up Rose Alley, get kind of a look at it. You can see more of Albertine on this side, blooming away. Yeah, I hadn't intended for Crown Princess Margareta to be trained on here. I wanted another pink rose, and I do have some. But there's smoke coming out of my chimney, so we are gonna go in and get warmed up. But yeah, look at this. Rose Alley is stunning. I need to train that cane back so it doesn't scrape somebody's head. Yeah, you can even see Constant Spry better from this side too. It's real pretty on there. I'll have to bring my stepladder out so I can get deadhead those ones that are higher up. So hopefully it will look even better the next time I can get out here and after the sunshine. Next week it's going to be back in the 80s, so we shall see. So I appreciate you coming along on this other or new little garden tour, especially before the iris are done. So this is May 25th. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tour and all the beautiful colors. It's overcast, so I think it was able to capture without strong shadows the beautiful colors in the garden and what it looks like right now, and why I love my irises this time of year to really fill in the garden with color before I have much else really blooming. Now, the roses on the side of the house totally surprised me. They bloomed much sooner than the ones on the arbors, and last year they didn't do that. So who knows? Every season is different. So pay attention, take notes, and you'll see how things behave differently through the years. And we've had a really weird winter. We had a very warm winter, and then spring was warm and then cold and then warm and then cold. So everything is just not as usual, but it's still beautiful. Okay, I will see you next time.